Hey kiddos, so the purpose of this video is to demonstrate where you are going to find instructions for the pandemic project. This announcement here, I'm going to hyperlink this video into there in a minute. So basically you've chosen to do the pandemic project. That means you've opted out of the Shakespeare unit. You do not have to do both. So to get to it, course tools, content, and I'm just going to, so you'll scroll down on the left side here. This is the Shakespeare unit. It's open, so I'm just going to click on the pandemic catalog project. Okay, you have 4 weeks to complete this project. Please read through the instructions on this PDF for details. It will be due on June 1st. Okay, so we're going to click this open first. I'm just going to read through this for you. So basically, many scholars believe that we as individuals living through the COVID pandemic should be cataloging our experiences. For many, it may not seem that momentous a period, but in the future, this will truly be a moment of history in the making. The purpose of this project is to entertain the aforementioned thought, but also to take advantage of the opportunities to engage, explore, and examine a multitude of nuanced texts during this period. There is ripe opportunity to dissect information, whether it be from video, print, photography, opinion, memes, TikToks, or other fragments of social media. Part of the real-life applicability of ELA is to become critical thinkers while engaging with such texts. In interpreting these texts, we take a glimpse into human behavior, differing ideologies, systems of privilege, and a global compassion for one another's experience, or lack thereof. For the purpose of this project, you will explore the following main categories. So, anything with an asterisk here, these are mandatory tasks, so you have to complete these 3 tasks, as well as a final response assignment which asks the question, what has COVID taught you about human behavior? These other options are provided because you have to select 3 of your own choices, okay? The format that you use is totally up to you, so you could complete all of them in a simple Google Doc, a PowerPoint or a Prezi, a portfolio style, maybe like a Google folder, a scrapbook, website, a blog, vlog, social media platform, like you can create your own Instagram page or something, video, film, etc. Okay, if you have an idea I haven't mentioned, please contact me and let me know, and I'll let you know if it's cool. Just whatever format you choose, make sure everything is neatly compiled together so it's not difficult for me to find each submission, okay? You'll note that I talk about personal, critical, or creative types of responses throughout this. On the very last page of this document, I highlight what that means, okay? So I've broken each heading down by each task. I've given you details. Under each task, there's an italics section, and that tells you what format you have to use. So here is a format of your choosing. There are some that will restrict you in terms of what types of formats you're allowed to use. I would highly recommend checking this video first, just so you can get kind of an idea of what I'm looking for in your exploration through this project, okay? So the final response format is totally up to you. It could be an interpretive dance, I don't care, as long as you are demonstrating a response to this question. Journal entries, so twice a week you'll do a brief journal entry for a total of 8, and I've given you some suggestions for how you might approach that. Persuasive writing, this is a major writing task and skill that you'll need heading into next year and the following. So you have to select 3 articles from what I've listed on the from here to read, and then you're going to respond in paragraph form. Brief paragraphs is fine to these 2 questions. But lastly, you will draft a 3-paragraph letter or speech in which you either accept or reject social distancing measures in place by Canadian governments. And this means you could look at specifically Canada as a whole, or you could look at each province or one province in particular. So these are all of the links for you to a bunch of different articles, and as you see, this task must be completed in print form. That's because persuasive writing is a writing task that I need to be able to assess through print. Visual responses, it says please go to D2L, contact Pandemic Project, Visuals, PowerPoint to find those images. You'll have to select 5 of these and respond to one of the following questions per image. You could respond to the same question 5 times if you want, or you can change it up. It's totally up to you. You have to respond to this in print as well, but you can respond personally, creatively, or critically. And I'll highlight that at the bottom page, but basically personal is just like a reflection or diary entries, things like that. Creative would be like creating a short story or a play or a monologue, whatever, and then critically is like a critical analysis of the image, whether that's through symbolic color or symbolic placement or just making critical analysis of metaphors, symbols, societal implications, things like that. Compare and contrast, those were your mandatory. These ones are where you get to choose. So compare and contrast, you get to select one of these. Basically, you either get to research a past pandemic and kind of compare and contrast, or you can choose a film or documentary about pandemics. One to consider is, there's one, I think it's called Explained on Netflix, that talks about pandemics. Pop culture, this is where you complete a pop culture analysis in order to answer this following question. So what do current social media trends suggest to you about how pop culture allows individuals to deal with the anxieties of COVID? At minimum, you have to include and analyze 4 memes, 2 videos or TikToks, and 1 trending hashtag. So you could also include a music video. Suggested formats here, don't have to use those. As long as you're addressing this question, you're good to go. Photo essay. Photo essays use a sequential selection of photos to tell a story, and you select one of these options below. Okay, so take and or find 10 photos. You have to take a minimum of 3 original photos. That means you need to have taken them yourself. That demonstrates some sort of different changes in society, and you have to develop a theme regarding either the social, political, and economic impacts on society, or what they tell you about human behavior. Okay, so I've given you some examples to consider. Okay, suggested format again. And then you're going to include brief captions per photo describing the relevance so that you can develop that theme. Another option is creative. So you choose one of these creative forms just to kind of encapsulate your feelings about the COVID pandemic lockdown. Okay. Interview. I've given you some questions. You can add to the questions if you want, but basically you have to interview one person who's younger than you and one person who's older than you and have them answer these questions. Okay. This is just a calendar to help you map out and keep track of your work because it's due on Monday, June 1st. And then here's this additional information that tells you what I mean by critical, creative, or personal. Okay, so you can look through that. And then I'm just going to show you where the visuals are located. So you go back and you'll click on this here, visual response options. Okay. Now, the important thing to remember is when you're responding to the visuals, to let me know which number you selected and which question you're responding to. Okay, so I've got the option number is listed there. So if you scroll through here, there's a bunch of different visuals, memes, different things on social media, posts, protests, etc. Okay, and again, visual response is a major skill that you'll need heading into next year. All right. So that pretty much covers everything. If you're looking for how you're being assessed, that you can find that here. And that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions.